It is said that the main reason why Americans and Mexicans came to war is due to America's thirst for land. Tension was brewing when Texas declared its independence from Mexico in the 1830s. The outcome of Texas' newly gained independence was a result of land expansion, or otherwise known as the idea of manifest destiny. Manifest destiny is the idea that Americans had the God-given right to occupy and civilize the whole continent. This would only be accomplished by expansion. Once Texas became an independent state, families moved onto the new land in other regions across North America. Many of these American travelers would often bring slaves to the Mexican provinces of Texas. The new settlers violated the Mexican and Native American tribes who already lived on the land. Although some communities in the West were irritated by this westward expansion, others welcomed these travelers. They embraced these travelers with open arms because they needed people to occupy their newly independent lands. Churches gave out an invitation for people who would take an oath of allegiance to Mexico and convert to the Catholic religion, the Texas state religion. Soon, however, many of the new Texan settlers grew increasingly unhappy with the way the government in Mexico City tried to orchestrate the province. In 1835, Texas revolted, and after several bloody battles, the Mexican president Santa Anna was forced to sign the Treaty of Velasco in 1836. The Treaty of Velasco's main article states that General Anton Lopez de Santa Anna agrees that he will not take up arms, nor will he exercise his influence to cause them to be taken up against the people of Texas during the present War of Independence. This was an agreement that Mexico would take down their arms and not fight against Texas. Despite the creation of the Treaty of Velasco, the Republic of Texas and Mexico continued to engage in border fights. Many people were injured, and as a result of savage frontier fighting. Partly due to the continued hostilities with Mexico, Texas decided to join with the United States on July 4, 1845. Although Texas did gain their independence after having their own Texas War of Independence, America did not want to annex Texas into the United States. This was mainly because northern political interests were against the addition of new slave states. The Mexican government was also encouraging border raids and warning that any attempt to annexation would lead to a war. Nonetheless, Texas was annexed into the United States with President Polk's election in 1844. Before his presidency, Polk served in the Tennessee legislature in the U.S. Congress. In 1839, he became governor of Tennessee. Polk influenced great westward expansion. Polk was a big voice in the annexation of Texas. The final blow that sparked the U.S.-Mexican War was on April 25, 1846, when a quarrel took place between the Mexicans and American troops clashing together. The dispute was over two countries claiming soil for each of their own territories. With countless battles taking place, the Americans and Mexicans fought hard. This style of war was a mix of European war tactics and guerrilla warfare. The U.S.-Mexican War lasted for 2 years, although there were multiple important battles and events that affected the war. One of the biggest events that occurred during the war was the signing of the Treaty of Guadalupe. On February 2, 1848, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was signed, marking the end of the U.S.-Mexican War. This treaty called that the northern parts of Mexico shall be annexed. In return, the U.S. agreed to pay $15 million to Mexico as compensation for the seized territory. The bravery of the individual Mexican soldier goes a long way in explaining the difficulty the U.S. had in prosecuting the war. Mexican military leadership was often lacking, at least when compared to the American leadership, and in many of the battles, the superior cannon of the U.S. Artillery Division and the innovative tactics of their officers turned the tide against the Mexicans. The war overall cost the United States over $100 million and ended the lives of 13,780 U.S. military personnel. Although Mexican casualties are not certain, there was an estimated 25,000 deaths. The U.S.-Mexican War was another step forward in filling in the modern-day USA map. Thank you for watching this and have a great day. Bye!